Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Nogleshnir Korsud, the Savageland of Festival. Now, last episode, we left ourselves in a situation that was pretty peculiar. We had just been attacked by a couple of dangerous cave ogres that we fended off pretty well, and since then, a couple of months have passed. As you can see, the stockpile for rocks have been expanded. We have made a little kitchen that has since produced a lot of really interesting food. We now have a little bit of a graveyard that is hosting a couple of monster slayer and warriors. Our butchery is now closed off with a dumping pile serving for the various and dangerous things, and most importantly, we had found a bit of metal. I don't think I had shown it, but it happened, and it was tetrahedrite, which is a mineral that yield copper and silver. And since then, I have made a magma smelter, two magma glass furnace, which are now used to make windows and collect lots of sand, and a magma forge that is right now being used to craft maces and war hammers in silver, which is quite effective, let me tell you. So our military will be able to fight quite well. And talking about military, we now have a squad, the Uncharted Warriors. Um, they have 9 dwarves that are training one mount out of 3. So the rest of the time they are being used as dumpers, haulers. They have some basic crafts to do, of course, but most of them just do the community service that can be expected of a squad such as theirs. I haven't filled out their empty spot yet, because I don't yet have a replacing dwarf that I can spare in the fortress, but that will soon come. Looking at the lower level, you can see that finally our tavern is ready to be used, and it has been named the Alchemical Water, kept by Enet Obok Modast, the tavern keeper, and entertained by Obe Tithia, a poet. Now let's take a look at those 2 dwarfs, shall we? Because they are quite vital to our infrastructures. Oba Ineth Obok Dast, or Pillar Onslaughts, is a dwarf that is 43 years old, with a high squeaky voice and low cheekbones. Her hair is clean shaven, her ears are somewhat splayed out, her nose is slightly upturned, her heliotrope eyes are slightly sunken, and her hair is dark taupe with dark brown skin. She is rarely sick, which is quite useful when you are a keeper of alcohol, let me tell you. Also, to talk about the various monster slayer in our fortress, we now have, I think it's, yeah, 10 monster slayer in the fortress who can and will do lots and lots of community service by removing all sorts of monsters that could be a bit annoying, like those magma crabs or those cave blobs. Now let's look at this poet, shall we? I think we can learn some valuable thing. One shall always return a favor. That is interesting. She is 79 years old, with long braided hair, tall figure, slightly flattened tall ears, fused lobbed. She has very low cheekbones and she has a square chin. Her nose is short. Her teeth are crowded. Her somewhat short head is broad. Her lips are very, very thin. Her slightly thin irised heliotrope eyes are slightly rounded. Her dark brown skin is slightly wrinkled, and her hair is dark taupe. So that's the 2 that are maintaining our tavern. That has a couple of inscription. Like here we have the Breaker of Monster, or the symbol of our fortress. We also have a lot of monster figures. the symbol of our civilization, etc. I won't look at all of them because most of them are frankly boring, but I can say with certainty that our tavern is doing well. We have managed to sweep water up to the side, and we have also lots of engravings in our bedroom dormitory. So, which is great, absolutely, because that means that people have a place to sleep that is quite safe and quite beautiful, which keeps morale up, if you may. As you can also see, we now have a textile industry, 2 clothier shop with a couple of clothier working around them, 2 looms producing yarn and webs into silk and cloth. We are milking and cheesing a lot of food out of what is happening up on the ground. Let me show you. We have still a lot of animals. In terms of reserve of food, we have lots of meat, lots of plants, 7,000 drinks of various sorts. We have ale, beer, rum, and wine, of course, but we have foxtail millet beer, prickleberry wine, spelt beer, turnip wine, and white millet beer, which is all fairly interesting. Also, we have started to plant stuff up on the ground, which I think could be used quite well. We don't have the best farming industry up top, but I promise you that should become better as time goes on. I'm also seeing that we have a couple of skeleton and bones and stuff. So I am just going to establish a little what's it called? Yeah, craft dwarf with the craft dwarf workshop just here, and I will label it for let's see. We will use it for making all kinds of various crafts with the bones. Here we have our sand collecting area. Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well right now. The next order of business before starting to move on to our mega project um, will definitely be to make a temple and a library. See, we are the first city that is standing before the big Savageland. So I think it's only fair that we have a place for people to simply relax and embrace their gods. And also a place for people to sit back and read books calmly. We already have a scholar, as you can see, and bookbinder that we'll be able to use to make all kinds of really interesting books. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna start designing stuff and moving around our population a bit, and I'll come back to you guys. I wanted to show you this kind of reservoir that I finished, and that is used to kind of empty the space below the waterfall so that we can run it freely. I've established a little floodgate right over here that will control it. So whenever this space, or well, this space become full, I'll close the floodgate, which will let it dry out a little bit, but because if it doesn't get too full, it can dries out pretty well. And whenever this one's full, I'll just activate the floodgate over here to stop the flow of water. So yeah, that will need a little bit of micromanagement, but I think it's a good plan. Yeah, I really think it's good. I'm also right now making a couple of mail shirt in copper, which isn't the biggest. Well, it's a weak metal, but you know it's better than having nothing on your back. So I think my dwarfs will kind of appreciate it. So I have designed the first 2 temple that you can see right here and right here. They will be dedicated to an unknown god that I haven't chosen yet. And here will be our book producing chamber. Because, you know, I think I will... Oh wow. Okay, so we have a outpost liaison that just arrived. Anyway, what I wanted to say was I want the library to be in or future fortress. Like this is just the beginning. The tavern is to increase the visibility of our fortress, and all these chambers are pretty small. This cavern in itself is quite small, so while it will be useful for the life of our citizens until we build the main structure, they live in the structure at the end. So I'll keep the big work on a big library for them, but for that I will bind books and make bookshelves and stuff like that. And a temple is necessary if I want my dwarves to not fall into a big depression. So yeah, here we are with the outpost liaison. Ism Momus Kulatloon. I am your liaison from the mountain home, so let's discuss your situation. There is much to share. What requests you have of our merchant? Well, actually, I have a lot actually. I love more cloth, more silk. Um, what I would want to get is some iron bars. Not steel. Steel is a bit trickier, but yeah, I'd love a bit of gold and iron. Um, I don't need any seeds. Anvils I can manage. Actually, I'd maybe like another iron anvil for the future. Um, we can manage in terms of weapon. Bodywear, same. I guess maybe an instrument. Yeah, let's tell them that we want some instruments. That could be cool. Do we have any animals that intrigues us? No, not in particular. Um, yeah, apart from that, I think we're pretty good, Ilmez. Yeah, now we look over the documents. I'll just skip over that, finish speaking in the conversation. And now we have finished the export plan. Alright, so they need powder, blocks, thread, headwear, splints, crown, earrings. We have a lot of crowns, earrings, and goblets to sell, so that'll be cool. Let's just check the rumors and news that we have learned in his visit. They must come from the Syrups of Times, which I don't quite remember where they are. Well, let's activate news and rumors, shall we? And that must be a bit useful. Oh, what's that? Interesting. What's happening here? A group calling itself the Council of Finger creating notch kindling on behalf of the common confederacies. Oh, well, that's quite nice. What's happening in the mountain homes? Crushed Ocean, the humble enchantment, was known to be in basement torrid. Okay, that's an artifact. That's also an artifact. Lots of artifacts. Alright. And then I think there was a bit of a conflict right here. The army of Ada Valley Amused marched on Tungsten. Huh. So an Elven versus Dwarven war up north here. Well, that's quite puzzling. Anything closer to us? Yeah, right here. Oh, so the elves have reclaimed their closest place. That's interesting. I'll keep that in mind, surely. The ardent ticks are apparently causing a lot of trouble to people around, but well, they haven't really annoyed me yet, but we'll have to watch them out because that could become a little bit dangerous in the coming future. Yeah. Is there anything? Oh, we have a petition. So another monster slayer wants to come. Welcome, welcome. You are all quite welcome here. Let's check if our bone crafting station has been established. Yes, it has. Now let's set the deck, make bone crafts, and go to trade. Did everything get moved to this place? I had set up a couple of objects to be traded. Yeah, it looks like it's good to go. And now we'll just no, not that part. So we have 3,214 value of things. So let's take a look, shall we? Together we shall see what we could buy from our fellow dwarves. So they have a couple of dwarven syrup. I can manage reindeer milk. I want that. Could make some great cheese out of that. Copper pick I can manage. Steel war hammer, interesting. Bismuth bronze. Yeah, I'll take this short sword. Couple. Yeah, there are dressed. Lion leather armor. Yeah, why not? Bronze low boot, let's go with that. An iron shield, and no, this iron shield is a bit too strong. Couple of bronze shield, a copper helm, a bismuth bronze cap. Interesting, really interesting. So a couple of chest bags. Oh, I actually I think I'll take those bags. We always need more bags, so yeah. Cave wheat seeds bag. So I don't really need any seeds at the moment, so we'll just buy a couple of bags, a couple of cloth. That would be quite welcome. Another cloth bin, a leather bin. Yeah, let's go. Eventually, I'll have a leather trade set up. So at that moment, I'll want a couple of leather, and we never know when a dwarf is gonna be taken in by a mood and need some leather before falling into a big ass depression and because he couldn't. Now we have a profit of 332. I think this is the good moment to press trade. Oh, okay, they don't even want us right now. Oh, how rude. So we'll depart ourselves from a couple of things. I really need those weapons and armor, but I don't need as much cloth as I bargained for. So we'll get rid of like this cloth bin, and I think that will be enough. Excellent, excellent. So now we have a lot of new stuff to supply the fortress, which will be incredibly good to help us. I have set up a little food stockpile just here, and I'm setting up a little how to say it, a little bedroom for visitors so that they can stay here. Mostly for mercenaries that could come. We always need more. We just had a new litter of puppies that was born. So more dogs to fight alongside our valiant warriors. Yeah, my voice cracked a little bit here. I'll train those new dogs in war, which is fantastic. We have 63 dwarf right now, and we are in the 18th of limestone, 556 early autumn. Please keep that in mind. That may be quite useful. I'll come back to you guys if anything happens, and if nothing happens, I'll be back when our temple get erected, and then I can show you guys what I've done with them. Here we have a strange mood. Dusim Lelumineth, who was the one crafting the bones into things. And now we require cut gems. Okay, so this is a bit of an embarrassing moment because just a couple of moments ago I realized, hey, I haven't cut any single gem. But I think maybe our friends, the traders, could help us with that. So let's try, shall we? I'm guessing anything that is close, like could be sold to them. Because I really want an artifact right now. It would be quite cool. We'll sell them. We'll sell them wine. How about that? A lot of wine and couple of metal bar. Let's sell them a couple of copper bars. And do we have any other mugs and stuff? Or crafts, yeah, let's sell them some more crafts. We just made some. No, not the 81 distance one. Alright, so let's get to the job dwarf. We need some cut gems. Of course, I could just establish, well, I will establish um, jeweler workshop. This was an overview of my part. It's entirely my problem if it fails because of that. Yeah, the chance that you would want bones, especially, and stuff like that to work with is pretty grimy. So I'll just come back to you guys once I've made the uh, is the trader needed to the depot right now or not? Trader needed, no trader needed at depot. I want trader requested at depot. So I press R. All right, this should do. If no one comes, well, we'll see. So yeah, I'll come back to you guys once we've made the trade or have some cut gems. Now we are here following Dusim Lilumines, the bookbinder that got a strange mood, and he has now finally fetched a cut gems. We got a couple of stuff from the merchant, but we managed to make some squirrel, cut squirrel gems from our newly made jewel workshop. So let's look at this boy. Just going into his workshop, following his instinct. He has gotten to work. He has everything that he needs. I will come back to you once he has finished his mysterious construction. So here we are with the bookbinder artifact that is Camille Lebash, a elk bird bone amulet. He claims it as a family heirloom. Now let us look at that baby. The Trust of Axes. Wow, a value of 9,600. Let's look at the description. This is a Helkbird bone element. Amulet. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with Elkburn bone. On the item is an image of Helms in Squirrel. In Shorel. Quite interesting. So we now have our first artifact of the fortress. And now, if I'm not wrong, this Dusim should be quite... Yeah, he's a legendary bone carver, which... it's it's a better profession than bookbinder for now, I guess. Also, our temple are moving quite well. I already have some gods that I want to pick out for them. But I thought, yeah, I may just wait a bit before actually revealing the gods until I have the temple finished out. Right now, my miners are digging out some more metals and some gems, and I now have a, a functioning jeweler workshop, which is fantastic. Um, yeah, so like give me a moment and you will be able to see the gloriousness of our temples, although they won't be engraved nor smoothed out yet because that is a lot of work and I may not have the dwarfsmanship to do that. So yeah, let there be welcome a new wave of migrants now arriving from the northern side of the territory. You shall be quite useful to the fortress, dwarfs. I can't wait to put you to work and boost up the productivity of our glorious fortress. One of you shall be a miner. There shall also be another woodworker and another bone craftsman, without forgetting someone else to bend and mold the sand to their likings. We just add a depression as they arrive, so we'll maybe get a carpenter in there. I see a lot of children, couple of babies. Here's what's it called? A llama, a small baby llama. This is quite cute, if I may say so. A lot of idler right now. We are, I think, at like approximately 11 migrants, which is good. Now lots of baby animals are arriving. May slaughter them when they grow. I don't know. I'm getting low on meat. Might be necessary. I think that's all our migrants. So we have a stoneworker, a ranger, and two animal caretaker. Crafts dwarfs. I'll put this one to bone carving. A glazer. Perfect. I'll put you to. I guess I'll use this one for task related to glass. This collier, well, I've already a goal for them. A woodcrafter, that's perfect. I'll use them for carpentry and stuff like that. Another fisherman, which is quite good, and that's it. And we have a peasant. Well, for the peasant, I won't really waste I won't waste time. I'll put him immediately in the squad of the Uncharted Warriors. Alright, so give me a moment, I'll chart out all of the tasks and I'll come back to you guys. Alright, now the jobs have been given. I've made the stoneworker, well, a dedicated stoneworker. The animal caretaker are doing various kind of job. This is our new bone carver. Yeah, one of the animal caretaker, I think, is now a miner because we needed a fourth one. We have the cloth here is doing clothes work. The glazer is doing glass work. I know glazer and glass isn't the same thing, but I put him there because he sucks. The woodcrafter is being specialized in carpentry, and in woodcraft he's really good at woodcrafting, so we may make some new woodcrafts. And we have a fishery worker that is just gonna do what he always has done, which is fishing. Our farmers are still working plenty hard. Right here, you see clothes bag and silks bag produce. We have our brewer that is quite dedicated. Our two looms are still functioning quite well. We have fields that are producing lots and lots of plants that are feeding our people. The temple are moving along quite well. Let's just take a look at what our miners are doing. Yeah, they are harvesting a couple of metal. We have a lot of idler right now, but that should be dealt with sooner or later. Yeah, you can already see that our new glass worker is already making some glass window, which would be fantastic for the plans I have in mind for the fortress. So, I'll move the fortress along, if you may, and then I will show you the results of the hard work that those dwarves are doing. I just want I just wanted to show you guys that there is no little colony of cute little plump element men that are just roaming around our reservoir. So they could have access to the fortress. I just hope they won't be aggressive. I don't think they will. But yay, it's pretty fun. I just imagine them just roaming around in mud and the water that is being diversed, and they're just like swimming along in it, like the cave people that they most definitely are. Now, everyone, let me show you our two temples that are yet unfinished in terms of polishing the walls and you know, statues, peopling it, but I think it is quite beautiful and can become quite a great temple. So, we have two gods that are most revered in our fortress, and the first one is Dishmab Mind Sanctum, the healing cover of oil. This is the god of fortresses and minerals. You can understand pretty simply why I've chosen this god. Our fortress is in a tough spot, you know? It's a dangerous place and we need all the help we can get from the god that represent quite well the struggle of fortresses and the strength of minerals. It is represented by a female dwarf, this god. So yeah, I've chosen that this will be one of our element of worship of our first two temple. I will build more than two temples that I've presented in the future, but that will be for the structure. The second temple is dedicated to Nosim, the truthful love, a male dwarf god that symbolize truth. Now you may wonder, why did you choose this particular god? Well, first off, he has 31 worshipper, which is almost half the population of the fortress, which is non-negligible. Um, but most importantly, well, the truth will be something that is quite important. Eventually, the continent will be full of people that originate from Savageland of Festival, you know? So having values like truth being important to our people, I think will be a great way to start up the colonization of the Eastern Peninsula. Now, I think this is a great note to end the video, don't you? We've finished a couple of things. We've refined our tavern. Now we have a bedroom for people to live in. We have a great reservoir that is functioning at full capacity. We have an artifact, a graveyard. We have a jewel maker. And on the surface, I've even established some un underground fields to grow some things around. And we have lots and lots of objects and crafts, and we have a couple of new dwarfs, 78 with lots of monster slayer and well, quite basic military, of course, but it is quite a good military, if I may say so. They've gotten better and better, and now that we have wait a minute. Now that we have such great worker working on copper armor and silver weaponry, I think we have a great chance against whoever wants to face us, which it will probably be Mega Beast and Forgotten Beast. That should happen in the coming video. And I think it's been close to 2 years since we arrived in Nuglesh near Korsud, and I think that 2 year will symbolize something. I think this is when we will face our great adversity, and I will keep that in mind when making the next video. Thanks for everyone. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope that you will stay as active as you are. I've developed quite a little bit of following that I appreciate you all for doing, and I will see you guys next week for a new episode of Nugglish near Korsud, the Savageland of Festival. See you guys.